The Hashira training arc of Demon Slayer is now concluded, and I have to give Ufotable some serious props for knocking it out of the park this season because they somehow took one of the shortest arcs in the manga and elevated it to a height I never thought it could reach. I think it's safe to say that Demon Slayer has mastered filler and knows how and when to use it properly, which is what I'll elaborate more on in this video. Before that though, let's set a definition for filler and give it some context that I think will be important later. By definition, filler content is something that is not adapted from the original source material and is usually meant to pad the runtime due to the anime being close to or caught up with the manga. It's not as common in shows nowadays since production schedules are better managed and there are seasonal breaks, both of which give manga plenty of time to pull ahead of the anime. Filler episodes are notorious though in older shows like Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Naruto, but they do still pop up in shows like My Hero Academia from time to time. Another important distinction I think needs to be made is the difference between filler episodes and anime original episodes. By definition, they're pretty much the same, but in practice, they're not so similar. When you think of filler episodes, your mind probably jumps to some of the older anime I mentioned a second ago, these boring episodes that add nothing to the overall story and are a slog to watch. In my personal opinion, I think filler content is fun when it's done right. Take for instance the Dragon Ball Z episode where Goku and Piccolo go take their driver's test. Not only is it a hilariously wacky episode, it gives us a chance to see a different aspect of their relationship and how it's changed over the course of the series. Or another example I like is in My Hero Academia Season 5, where Ochako and Sue go off to do internships and have like a whole drug bust side quest. And was that episode just a way to tie into the movie that came out around the same time? Sure, but at the same time, we got to see Ochako and Sue do some hero work outside of the main story, which also helped build up their characters more. Now, I know a lot of people roll their eyes and get upset when anime gets original content, since it usually is just the filler that doesn't add anything to the plot, but Demon Slayer has seemingly beat those allegations after this season. A lot of what they added this season did exactly what anime original content should. It elevated the source material and gave more time with some characters that the manga didn't, which will definitely give us more emotional damage here in the future. When I initially heard that Ufotable would be adding anime original content to this arc, I got excited since I really enjoyed the anime original Rengoku episode they did for the Mugen Train arc. It was an episode that fleshed out Rengoku just a bit more since we don't really see him that much in the anime, and helped bridge the gap between seasons 1 and 2 and explained why he was even on the train in the first place. Now, back to the Hashira training arc. We started off really strong with Sanemi and Obanai not only getting to showcase their breathing styles, which hadn't been seen yet if I remember correctly, in a really cool action scene, but they also got a sneak peek into the Infinity Castle. This was, of course, later followed up in another anime original scene where they talk about what happened and how it would affect things going forward, but then they conveniently forgot to mention it to anyone else, so everyone was still really shocked when Muzan dropped them all in at the end of the season. I will say that Sanemi, Obanai, and Tengen definitely got a lot of the spotlight when it came to anime original content, but it was well worth it. Do I wish we got some new scenes with Shinobu and Tamayo? Of course, but we also can't write off the possibility of those scenes being saved for the Infinity Castle movies when it's relevant to the story again. I also wish we got to see more of Mitsuri's training, but given that, she had a lot of focus in the previous arc, I can absolutely understand why she didn't get any new content. It makes a lot more sense to focus on the Hashira who just haven't gotten that much screen time yet. But I guess that argument makes no sense since Moichiro got some new content and he was in the last season. I don't know, I don't make the rules over at Ufotable. Going into this season, even as a manga reader, I wasn't a huge fan of Sanemi or Obanai. They just didn't click with me personally, and the original content changed that. I think the biggest issue with Sanemi and Obanai, at least from my perspective, is that we got a very poor first impression of them back at the beginning of the series, especially compared to some of the other Hashira like Giyu and Shinobu, and then we never saw them again until the Infinity Castle arc. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that I never liked these characters, it's just that I didn't like them until the Infinity Castle arc, which is the final arc of the series. Like I said, we don't really see them for a long period of time, and then only see them in the final arc, and that's where all of their big moments come into play. After watching this season, not only am I more invested, but I feel like I know them a bit better as characters, which will help greatly going into the final arc. I really enjoyed their scenes at the beginning of the season, and I've been rewatching them over and over again because I think they're just so cool. Speaking of which, let's talk about Tengen's whole episode, an episode that only adapted a handful of panels and was otherwise anime original content. This episode should be the new gold standard of how to do filler episodes because not a second of that episode felt like it didn't belong. Tengen's fight with Tanjiro was well done because it helped show how far he's come since the entertainment district. There's also a lot of meaningful dialogue between the two, since this is one of the last times they'll interact in the series, at least before Infinity Castle. It serves as a good baseline for Tanjiro so we can track his progress since the entertainment district and see how much he improves during the rest of the Hashira training. Now, one of my personal favorite scenes that got added was the sparring match between Sanemi, Obanai, and Muichiro. The concept of Hashira sparring with each other wasn't really explored in the original manga except for a brief fight between Giyu and Sanemi, which also got an extension. Something that I think goes overlooked is the idea that the Hashira still need to train too. A lot of time and emphasis is put on Tanjiro and the others training, but the Hashira themselves aren't perfect either, and they still have their own work to do so that they can better manifest their own marks. The fight in and of itself was really cool, and not only was it visually incredible, but it had a really good soundtrack that has been stuck in my head for weeks. This is another scene that helped change my opinion on Sanemi and Obanai because despite the rough exterior, you can see that they do care for the other demon slayers. As for the Giyu and Sanemi fight extension, this one is important and actually adds a crucial detail that'll come up later, but I won't say much more for spoiler reasons. I do really love the parallel of Tanjiro previously not being able to follow fights because they were moving too fast, like Rengoku and Akaza, but now he can follow Giyu and Sanemi's fight just fine, another subtle way to show how much he's grown. As a quick aside, there's a lot to like about this arc, even though IGN gave it a 3. It slows the pace down and truly is a calm before the storm that gives us character interactions that both were and weren't in the original manga. This arc is exactly what a lot of critics say Demon Slayer lacks, but then still gets criticized for being too slow and how it should have been a montage. You really can't win with these people. On that point of the season being too slow or should have been a montage, I actually think Ufotable made it work. The original arc is only 12 chapters, which realistically could have been done in 3 to 4 episodes, but Ufotable took that and stretched it out to 8 episodes, with 3 of them being extended. The reason this worked is because Ufotable added in filler content to pad the runtime, but the big difference is that the things they added contributed to and elevated the original story, rather than just being your bog standard boring filler. Another aspect that helped was how that added content was paced. None of it felt like it overstayed its welcome or dragged on too long. They somehow figured out the perfect ratio of original to adapted content. A lot of anime slow down the pacing to pad out the runtime so they don't have to add original content. That's why there's so many infamous memes about how long Dragon Ball fights are. Demon Slayer didn't do that. Yes, they slowed down the pacing by adding in original content, but it was dynamic. It added to the story and it kept things moving, something a lot of other anime can't say the same for. On the topic of pacing, say what you will about the Muzan walking scene, but it was really cool. Like, I was beyond the hype to watching it for the first time, despite it being a little bit long. And of course, the finale episode was incredibly awesome, and even though they didn't really add any original scenes except for at the end of everybody falling in, it was still a 10 out of 10 episode, and has me so hyped for the movie, and I can't wait to watch the movies, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Overall, I think Demon Slayer has broken the curse of anime filler episodes and figured out how to do it right. Hopefully more series will take note and keep that in mind when trying to make filler episodes or even just add more anime original content that wasn't in the manga. I know it won't apply to every situation, but it should help for some. Boruto. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave a like so I know to make more videos like this. If you want more Demon Slayer content, you can check out my video on why I'm excited for the Infinity Castle movies or my take on whether or not Demon Slayer is carried by animation.